Spherical chess. How to play. The rules are the same as regular chess except for these changes. For a refresher of those rules, check out this video. Set out the sphere and at the top pole, place black's king on any white triangle space. Proceeding clockwise from the king, place queen, bishop, knight, rook, rook, knight, bishop. Place pawns on the next row out. On the bottom of the sphere, mirror white's pieces so that each type of piece is on the same column as its opponent's matching piece. Players are only allowed to rotate the sphere on their turn, but they may move their body around the sphere for a better viewing angle at any time, so long as it doesn't impede their opponent's turn. Pawns move forward towards their opponent's pole. Pawns promote like normal when they reach any of their opponent's rear rank starting positions. En passant is allowed like normal. There are no edges to the board. Pieces can travel around its circumference and across the top and bottom poles. Pieces may not travel around the board in a single move and end on the same space it started on. It must move to a different space. When traveling across a pole, the two triangle spaces directly opposite each other are both orthogonally and diagonally adjacent. Rooks move in a straight line across a pole. A knight counts the triangle space opposite as one of its normal spaces to determine its movement. The knight's 90-degree turn in its movement will allow it to move to some unique spaces when near a pole. Diagonal movement across a pole continues out of the opposite triangle in the opposite rotation it entered. It is as if the two opposite triangles are smashed together to form a single space with four corners. Then, the diagonal movement travels out of the opposite corner it entered. For example, if a bishop travels into a pole counterclockwise, it will continue its movement clockwise out of the opposite triangle space. You can choose to stop a diagonal movement before crossing the pole or on the triangle space immediately after crossing the pole if you want. A bishop or queen starting its diagonal move on a triangle space is allowed to cross the pole and travel in either diagonal direction out of the opposite triangle. If the king is in a triangle space, it is allowed to move across the pole to the opposite triangle. A king may not move to any other triangle space that isn't adjacent to it. To castle, move the king two spaces around the pole towards either rook. Then move the rook to the other side of the king. You are allowed to castle both clockwise and counterclockwise with the same rook so long as all the normal requirements for castling are followed. But you may not castle across a pole. The first player to checkmate their opponent wins.